In this lesson, we're going to be building a random password generator, and it's going to be very secure. So the program is going to look like this. As soon as we run the script, we're going to get 5 random passwords back. And it's also going to inform us whether it has uppercase characters and special symbols, so that if we have those requirements, we can make sure that those are inside our password. And this is going to be highly customizable, so you can pick the password length, whether you want it to include symbols and whether you want it to include uppercase characters. So we can make them as long as we want. We can even make a 30 character password. And as you can see, we'll have these huge passwords that are extremely secure. This is something that a lot of people would have a very hard time trying to guess. Even if they made a billion guesses, this is going to be really hard to guess. So that's the program that we're going to be making. And to get started, we're going to import 2 different modules. One is the string module and one is the secrets module. Because in Python, you might be aware that we have a random module, which is good for generating random numbers. But that is not a secure way of generating numbers. It can theoretically be reversed engineered. So we use secrets to actually generate real secure random numbers. But the first thing we need to do is create some checks, and we're going to get this out of the way first. So first we're going to create a function called contains_upper to check whether a password contains an uppercase character, at least one. And it's going to return to us a boolean. So it's either going to return true or false based on whether it contains an uppercase character. So for a character in password, we will type in if the character is upper, or not is upper, but literally is upper, we're going to return true. So as soon as it finds an uppercase character in our string or in our password, it's going to return true. Otherwise, if it finds nothing, it's going to return false, so it contains no uppercase characters. And we're going to do something very similar for the symbols. So just copy and paste that, and we're going to type in contains symbols. And this time, to actually check, we're going to check if the character is in string.punctuation. So we're going to be using this string module to import some punctuation. And I can actually show you what's inside that right now. If we print, let's say, string.punctuation, and we run this script, you'll see that we will get all of these symbols back. So string just makes it simple for us to use these characters. It also has ASCII characters. So if we type in let's say ASCII lowercase, you'll see that we'll get the whole alphabet back. And that's just much more convenient than typing in A, B, C, D, E, F, G and all the symbols you want. So I highly recommend you use string to just save some time. But next we can create a function called generate password. And this is going to take a few arguments. And the first one is going to be the length of type integer. How long do you want that password to be? Whether it includes symbols of type boolean, and whether it should include uppercase, which will also be of type boolean. And that's going to return to us a string. Now first we need to create the combination of characters that we want to use. So combination of type string is going to equal string.ASCII lowercase plus string.digits, because we want to use both numbers and the alphabet in our password. So this is going to print out the alphabet plus the numbers 0 to 9. So that's going to be the combination of characters we want to use. But of course, what happens if we want to use symbols or if we want to use uppercase characters? Well, we need to include some checks. So if symbols, we're going to say combination plus equals string.punctuation. So we're going to add that to our combination string so we can use the punctuation. And the same thing is going to happen for uppercase. So if uppercase is true, we can just append to combination plus equals string.ASCII uppercase. Next, we need to get the combination length of all the characters we are using so that we can use it in our random sequence. And I'll show you later what I mean by that, but for now we just need to get the length of the combination. Then we can type in new password, because this will be the password we will generate, and that's going to be an empty string initially. Now for underscore in range of length, we're going to do the following. We're going to append to the new password, so new password plus equals combination, and then we need to open some square brackets. And here we can call secrets random below. And the way random below works is that you specify a number and it's going to generate random numbers until that number. So if you generate 10 or if you insert 10, it's going to generate numbers between 0 and 10. So we want to make sure that we generate numbers until the combination length, so we don't get an out of index error, because the combination length is going to be the total amount of characters in this string. So if we have 10 characters in this string, it's only going to try to access numbers up to 10. And if we didn't have that, we might make a mistake and it might try to access a 11th character. But if that doesn't exist, we're going to raise, or we're going to get an exception. But as soon as we have that, we can return the new password, and that will conclude our generate password function. And the last thing to do is actually just to use it. So we can say if name is equal to main, and here we can type in that the new password, or I'm just going to call it new pass here, of type string, is going to equal generate password. And let's just test it out. Right here we have a length of 10, and I'm going to say symbols should be set to true, and the uppercase should be set to false. We don't really care about uppercase characters, and we're going to print this new password. Now, if we run the script, we should get some silly new password, such as that. That's extremely secure. We can run it again and again and again, and you'll see that we will continuously get random passwords. In case you don't want symbols, set that to false, and you should only get digits and letters now. But what I showed you before was a bit different. So let's try to recreate what I showed you earlier. So for I in range, let's say 1, 2, 6. So we generate 5 new passwords. We're going to do the following. We have the new pass, which is perfectly fine, but we also want to add some specifications. And this is just to show to the user. So we're going to format this string. And the first thing we're going to insert is U for uppercase to tell the user whether the string contains uppercase. So here we can just insert contains upper and insert the new pass. And the same thing will go for the symbols. So uppercase S, curly brackets, contains symbols, and we will enter the new password. Now the last thing to do is to modify our print statement a bit. So F quotation marks, we will insert an I, an arrow mark, and we will say, okay, here's the new pass and the specifications, which will be placed inside parentheses. So here we have these specifications. Now it's going to generate for us 5 different passwords, and it's also going to tell us whether we have any specifications. So right now, all of these are just alphanumeric, which means we have the alphabet and digits, but we don't have any uppercase and we don't have any symbols. But let's set symbols to true, and these will all contain symbols now, or they should contain symbols. And we will also set uppercase to true, and we will get some uppercase characters included in our passwords, which means we will also have these flags set to true. I do need to mention though that the program we created does not guarantee that our strings are going to contain upper or contain any symbols. We just said that the program should be able to include it in case we have these flags. So as a homework assignment, I want you to make sure that every string contains an uppercase and a symbol if these are set to true. Because let me show you right now, if we have a password of 3 characters, and we run the script, you'll see that some of them might not contain symbols and some of them might not contain uppercase characters. Because even if it's set to true, sometimes, who knows what the odds are, it's not going to use those symbols, because we're now grabbing punctuation from a combination string, which means it's completely random. So again, your homework problem is to make sure that there's a symbol and an uppercase character, no matter what the length of the string. Of course, if it's less than 2 characters, it's going to be hard to include both, but if it's more than 3, you should be able to fit in an uppercase and a symbol, such as 9 minus X. That's perfect. but 2 curly bracket 6 does not fill the requirements that we inserted here. And with larger passwords, this becomes really rare because there's so much to choose from, but eventually you will run into cases, I'm sure, that you will be missing either a special character or a symbol, even though it's highly unlikely.